afternoon, Miss Jill.
Hello, Miss Ing.
How are you?
I am dripping wet. I don't know if they can tell, but we just got caught in a Pittsburgh tsunami.
We did. There was flooding.
There was flooding.
There was flooding on McKnight Road. It was frightening.
So just getting from the car into the library, so if we look a little bit...
Miss Jill said she would still come on the show. So that really made me happy.
Well, it's good to be here.
So thank you.
Absolutely.
Because I really wanted to do this topic, because I know that this topic is something that you're just starting to get into, although you've loved this topic for a long time with your heart, because...
What's our topic?
Our topic is France. It's not. Our topic is the earth and taking good care of the earth and all that's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some things that go along with taking care of the earth, words you might know: recycling, composting, worrying. Well,
okay.
We worry about the earth.
As I did last time, I do try to think about the topic before coming in.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that this topic makes me really nervous because it's controversial. It is a controversial topic, which is kind of ironic because I think people who are concerned about the earth love it and they want to take care of it.
Right,
and usually caretaking is not controversial. But this is actually a controversial topic. So big disclaimer is neither one of us are experts.
No,
we
and that's
not
why we
scientists.
felt like we were the best to do this.
Yes. So, and I think another reason, so it's controversial, and it's a different kind of topic because it's not just, this is what I believe.
Right.
And this is my own life, but looking after the earth is actually all about what we do with our actions. And even more significantly, it's the choices that we make with our money. Hugely controversial to talk about money, right?
Yeah.
What we do with our money, and how we act, what our actions are. So just to say, these are just ideas. Once again, things that we're thinking about. Neither one of us are experts. Neither one of us have figured it out. And that's why, again, this is all about finding a better way and not knowing the perfect way.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you ask us in a week or in a day, we may even have an even better way. Right. It's not like we're Jan Nocita, who is just the earth mother of the world, who has rain barrels and all kinds of things like that. And I can't even dialogue with her about it except to say, I care about what you're doing and I appreciate what you're doing. But, well, you're much further along in the sustainability, caring of the earth projects than I am, because Miss Jill is growing her own food.
Like many of you.
Yeah.
This is an exciting year. Last year for my birthday, I come from a long line of farmers.
You do? Didn't your one relative, your grandfather, make the vegetables for Campbell's?
My grandfather was a farmer. As many people, they've come from farmers. And this is what we have to remember, is that we're not that many generations removed from most people growing their own food. So again, just if it's not your grandparents, it's your great-grandparents. So we're a couple of generations removed. And so when you talk to family members, you'll find that there are a lot of farmers out there. But my mom is she had an incredible garden. So for my birthday last year, I got a crop cage. And you've probably seen some crop cages around. And the main reason for having a crop cage, of course, is to deter other wildlife from eating. So it was very exciting this year. I ordered seeds and started growing some vegetables from seeds. And if you haven't done it, it is incredibly exciting to look at these odd looking things that you'd otherwise throw away, but these seeds, and once they get into soil and once they get into water, they're magic. And I know that children do, they grow from seeds sometimes at school, but yes, so that's exciting.
I saw Miss Jill's zucchini at a stage when I didn't know a zucchini was ever in that stage, and it looked like a little flower or something.
There's a blossom.
It was so neat. Oh, so it wasn't.
But I think what we're doing right now is really helpful. because what we're doing is we're talking about where our food comes from.
Right.
And for some people, that is going to be the best place to start, is where does it come from?
Right.
And can you believe that zucchini comes from that seed, or that green bean comes from that seed? And I think that once you start to, and again, that connection between what we consume and where it comes from, I think the caretaking comes more naturally, because you start to think about all that's gone in to that vegetable. So I have a tomato plant, and I just have 2 green tomatoes. That's all I've got right now is 2 green tomatoes. And it might take the rest of July for them to become bigger red tomatoes. But I've watched them, and there's something about the process of watching that take place that I really want to look after them.
Right.
So I think for some people, when you start to think about looking after the earth, is pick one area, and it might be that you're going to start to think about, where does my food come from? And can I have some influence on where my food comes from? We have great community gardens here in Pittsburgh. Sharpsburg, behind the Sharpsburg Library, fabulous community garden. Behind the Millville Library, community garden. Blawnox has a community garden. I don't know what they do about the animals, not eating them. They probably need a big dome. But there are ways, if you don't have space at your own house, to get involved in it. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe that isn't for you.
Right.
But maybe there's another place where you can start to think about your connection to the earth. To the earth
and where you've been in. I mean, I'm kind of ashamed to say that, when we were growing up, because we're about the same age. I'm
older.
I feel a lot older. but recycling was not really a thing. I mean, it really wasn't like it is now. And there have been times in the past 10 years, I'm much better at it now, when I've been in a program with some of you kids, and I've gone to throw something away, and it's been you who has challenged me and say, Miss Ng, recycle that.
Okay.
But you've always been a recycler.
Well, but here's the thing, and this is why I started off with, this is controversial. Recycling is now not the tool that we thought it was.
I know, I've seen a lot of things about that. I forgot. And you have to be if you're going to recycle, it has to be very granular. I mean...
Well, again, there's all sorts of information out there now about how our recycling, it's no longer profitable. Once goods get contaminated, it's harder to do. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't think about where we put our waste. That's really important. But what I've started to do, and again, this is just where I am, but rather than it's important where we put our waste, but again, what am I choosing to purchase?
To even have.
So pre-waste. What are my decisions before this is going to become waste? And there are a lot of things out there that help you to make different, maybe sometimes they're better decisions about your purchases from your cleaning products. All sorts of things about, why is it, can you get whatever's in that container in a different way.
Like the soap, I know you've switched to, you used to buy the containers of soap. You love soap. Soap is kind of your thing. We're going to do in fact, how I made this is going to feature Miss Jill making her own soap.
But I do love soap. But I have changed.
But now you've changed how you
I've changed how I get soap. So I try to buy soap before it needs water, and I add the water. Whether it be a tablet or whether it be a pod. Again, that is a very small thing, but collectively, if more people thought, again, and this is why it's controversial too, is it's the choices that we're making. But I think we have more choice now. And the other thing that I wanted to say is it's one of those topics where people are really critical of each other. Well, if you're doing that, do you stop flying on a plane? And again, so I just want to say that just choose one area and try not to be critical of people who can't necessarily make a change in what they purchase. And then I actually have to go. I'm going to have to dash
Okay.
out pretty soon. Sorry. But what I was going to say is, I still think it comes back
You have to go recycle.
Oh, reuse. Again, reuse
yeah.
your stuff.
Yeah.
Reduce.
Right.
I think for me, and this is kind of probably what I'll end on, is reducing consumption.
Right.
What do you really need that? And one of the things that we started doing in the library a couple years ago was changing some of the ways that we did things here.
We used to use a lot of disposable bags for summer reading, and then you had a wonderful idea that we would buy. I don't know what they were made out of.
Well, they're fabric.
And people still bring them in.
They
Some
do.
of you still bring them
Yeah.
in. We decorated them, you know, they were fabric bags. And so...
And again, people would say, "Well, is it organic cotton?" I mean, there are all sorts of questions that people could ask. But I think, just in those small ways, to say we're just going to try one thing. We're going to try to do one thing, and so what we purchase, we want to make sure that when it comes to getting rid of it,
it has a place to go. Well, one thing that we learned was that those recycle symbols that you see on some plastics and things like that doesn't necessarily mean they're being recycled.
Well, that's what I say. The recycling is not the tool that we had hoped that it was going to be. And so that's, for me, why I think before it becomes waste, what if I bring that into can I make a different decision about bringing that in?
And use it a couple times or something in different ways.
Yeah.
One thing Miss Rebecca and I started doing is when she found out, because I think we all saw the same 60 Minutes program, was that these plastics that had the recycle symbol on them weren't able to be recycled, is she would eat a thing of peaches every day, and she would always recycle the container. Well, now instead she gives it to me, and instead of putting my kitty cat's food on a paper plate, I put my kitty cat's food
so
in
you're
that.
reusing.
So we're reusing it.
Yeah.
So that's like two good uses out of that.
Yeah. But again, I think it's thinking about that connection.
Right.
And I guess the other thing that I often come back to is, people are critical or they think their small steps aren't going to matter, is that I do truly believe that everything is connected. Everything is connected. And so what you do, your actions, it may take a while for you to see how they're connected to something else, but that they are connected.
And that reminds me, I'll put a link to that great Balinese folktale called Go to Sleep Gecko.
Yeah, Go to Sleep Gecko.
Because its message is that the world is all connected.
It's all connected.
It's connected. And one of the things, I'm glad you brought up about doing a small step, because it can be so overwhelming. We found this awesome podcast called Realistic Sustainability, and these two brothers, they're sharing their ideas and they're showing what works and what doesn't work, and but it's all about that just trying. And I love that idea about being gentle with each other, not judging other people. I
mean, I can't carpool to work. I can't take public transportation to work. I have to use a car. So again, but I don't think that means I shouldn't at least be more conscious and concerned about the other things with my life that I do have some control over.
And the one other thing that I do want to mention, to check out the link, is this is an area. I'm talking to super special grown-ups now. You can tell because I have my super special grown-up hat on. But it is a worry. When I said that about worrying what we can do about saving the earth, it's a worry. And so your kids might come to you and they might say, "Mom, I saw these pictures of all the fires, and I saw these pictures of this and that." And that's a tricky thing. It's hard because what do you say to your child? Don't worry about it, when it is a real concern. And so there's links that are on the website that's flying above you here that will help you. They're from psychiatrists, child psychologists, recommendations about how to talk with your kids about something really serious when it is, but to alleviate that anxiety that they're feeling. I wouldn't be good at that because I am in a constant state of anxiety. But you have a book that you would like to read.
Well, you know what? I was going to say, this is, again, one of the things it is a topic that we do talk about, because we're not experts, but we do try to talk about it. And again, I hope that what you're hearing is that even if it's just choose a few areas of your life where you can just be more conscious, and maybe you are. In fact, there might be people watching this who've got all sorts of ideas.
Maybe my underwear is made out of hemp.
Well,
that's awesome. Mine's not.
Fabric is one of the topics.
Fabric, yeah.
But this book is called 10 Things That I Can Do to Help My World. And even if it's only 2 or 3, and I like it because it's one of those books. In fact, I might need to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, get a little bit.
That's okay. Is that better?
And it's by the wonderful Melanie Walsh, who just has so many good.
I like it because it has those cutout pages. Yes. But I'm terrible at holding a book and reading it
You mean hold
at the
it?
same time. No, it's okay.
Okay.
So, 10 things that I can do. I remember. See the light? Oh, there's the dark. To turn off the light when I leave the room. And here this squiggly line says, turning off lights and using more efficient light bulbs saves valuable energy. So that might be the one thing that you can do, is turning off. And it saves you money.
It saves you money, that's
which
true.
is kind of nice.
That's true.
All right, the next one is, and I like this because it says, I try. Try, just try. It says, I try, and here's the cutout, to turn off the tap when I brush my teeth. So I try. And the little squiggle says, every time you do this, this is incredible. This says you save 18 glasses of water. And you're not actually saving it because we have a finite amount of water, but it means you're not putting it into the system that it then has to be cleaned and all that happens there. So conserving. I always throw my trash away. And it says, putting garbage away keeps the world safe and clean. So again, not littering, so that animals, it's not just the recycling, but when you litter, and animals and birds and creatures could come across our harmful waste.
Something or eat something that they shouldn't.
Okay, this next one, I have to say a disclaimer. This is not true right now in Pennsylvania, and I'll explain why. It says, I will, and it seems hard to imagine snow right now, doesn't it?
It really does.
I'm trying not to look at myself in the camera. I am sweaty and rained on. Oh, no. Feed the birds in the winter. Now, I don't know what kind of news alerts you get, Miss Ng, but I've had the news alert that says, if you live in the Pittsburgh area, do not feed the birds right now.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a disease that's going around, and they've said, please take down your bird feeders.
Wow.
Don't water or feed the birds because they're trying to figure out what is making the birds ill. So, just to say, right now in Pittsburgh, if you're watching in Pittsburgh, don't feed the birds.
Maybe wait till it snows.
Maybe wait till they figure out what's making them sick.
Right.
And this one says, I will use both sides of the paper.
Ah, that's great.
If everybody did this, it would greatly reduce the number of trees we use to make paper.
Yeah.
And I recently watched a fabulous, I can't remember, was it on TV? I can't remember if it was on TV or on the internet, about how trees, they absorb the carbon dioxide, and they're so important that we have trees and vegetation.
Yeah.
So important. I remind my parents, love this page, to unplug the TV when we're not watching it. I don't know about this one. Now, maybe other appliances, but if I unplug my TV, does that mean I have to reset everything?
I do have to say that.
I'm not sure about this one.
I unplugged all
your appliances.
Everything in my appliances in my apartment. my electricity bill went down $20 a month.
Okay. So you know it's using...
Right. So it must be using something.
So maybe,
right?
again, maybe think about what are some of the things that you can unplug.
Right.
But I think if I unplugged my TV every time...
You'd have to reset the whole configuration.
I might.
Yeah.
I might. I enjoy... I love this one. Love this one. Making toys from things around the house.
That is sweet.
And this is so easy to do. Mm-hmm. Look at what you have, and maybe that's the second life for some of your paper and plastic products. Right, you can make toys.
Yeah.
I like to walk to school.
Nice.
Avoiding car trips saves gas, cuts down on pollution, and walking is also good exercise. Again, yesterday I actually had a young person, which I thought was fantastic. He said, "Do you want a carpool to this graduation party?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Good, this
Mr.
carpool,
Michael from the library.
Let's carpool." And I thought we're both going to the same place. We're both leaving the library, so why not?
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. I can. Anybody can. I promise you, anybody can plant seeds and help them grow. And that's probably a milk carton. Anybody can do this. Plants help keep the air clean and healthy. Again, they're pulling down that carbon dioxide. I help. This one has cutouts in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Super cool. Sort the recycling. And it says, all because... Have you seen the last page?
No. I want to...
This is why I love my world.
That is really nice.
So, I do like this book. Again, 10 reasons... or 10 things I can do.
Yeah.
They're not perfect. They're not perfect. And again, if we were to analyze it all, but I think just being more conscious about what we're doing. And again, you out there, you probably have all sorts of
if you have any recommendations,
incredible
for us,
ideas.
We are just although I've started a garden too. You want to tell them about my garden? It's more ornamental than functional.
But isn't that true that in soil, it's incredible what can
What
can grow in an abandoned flower basket?
Mm-hmm. It's a weed. but just wait a second. So you know how the plants, they all take out the carbon dioxide from the air and they help? Do even weeds do that?
I think anything that's growing and is green is pulling it out.
See?
So
and
you're
including
helping.
the mold in my refrigerator.
All right, Miss Thing, I must go.
Thanks, Miss Jill.
And again, I don't know
friends.
if that was helpful or not, but I guess I'm just an example of someone who's more conscious and trying to think more about how my actions have an impact on the world that we live in.
No, and I think that's awesome, and we're just starting out. In fact, next week we're going to take this same topic up again, and maybe next week
Make it better.
I'll make it. It'll be even a better way.
It'll be better.
But we might have some pictures of my garden. And maybe your garden.
My
Can you
crop
snap
cage.
some pictures?
Yeah,
for us?
certainly can.
When I first saw crop cages, it was a long time ago. I was really young. I was like 48. I thought that they were imprisoning these plants, and I was very concerned. I didn't understand, and that's the truth.
You might have to
sadly.
edit this out.
That's the truth. Well, no,
Thank you.
I just wanted to be. We like to be transparent. We don't want everybody to think we're perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.